happiness the world the way we see it to be. And it returns, and it returns, and it returns to me. Over the mountains, over the ocean, over the sea, it returns to me. I send my love.
Awesome, Jim.
Thank you,
yes, give Jim some love. Thank you, Jim. Good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the experience of a lifetime, the revealing experience. If you haven't been here before, hey, I'm Sunny Daye. This is Mellow. And if you have been here, then you know this song. So sing along. Here we go. Come on in. We welcome you. Come on in. We welcome you. Let go, be free.
Come on in and take a seat. We're glad you're here.
We're spreading love, joy, and cheer. So come on in, come on in,
come on in,
come on in. We welcome you. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Let go, be free. Come on in and take a seat. We're glad you're here. We're spreading love, joy, and cheer. So come on in,
come on in,
come on in,
come on in.
come on in. We welcome you. Come on in, come on in,
come on in,
come on in. We welcome you. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Come on in,
come on in,
come on in,
come on
hey,
in.
Rev. Come on in.
We welcome you.
Come on in. I love how we stretch that song out so that Reverend Sunshine can get as many hugs as possible. So open your hearts and sing Reveal with us, yes? Reveal, reveal the love inside of me. Reveal the love that I was meant to be. Every time I open up, love is what I see. Reveal the love in me. The peace, reveal, reveal the peace inside of me. Reveal the peace that I was meant to be. And every time I open up, peace is what I see. Reveal the peace in me. Reveal the joy, reveal the joy inside of me. Reveal the joy that I was meant to be. And every time I open up, joy is what I see. Reveal the joy in me. Reveal the love inside of me. Reveal the love that I was meant to be. And every time I open up, love is what I see. Peace. Every time I open up, peace is what I see. Every time I open up, joy is what I see. Reveal the joy in me.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Sunny, for a wonderful start to a wonderful evening once again. And so let's take that lovely, vibrant energy and do some praying together. Knowing that the presence and the power of Spirit is here, is everywhere, always has been, is right now, and ever will be. For that is the truth of God and the truth of God's life. And that life is perfect and it is ours, and we bring it into this evening. We bring it into the warmth and the joy and the harmony and the balance and the energy that is here that says, love is everywhere, joy is everywhere, peace is everywhere. And all I have to do, and all each one here has to do, is simply allow that to be the life and the love that is true. And I open to that, and I simply say, and so it is. It's a new month. October, first Wednesday in October. And the theme of this revealing service for Reverend Sunshine tonight, for this whole month is, that is scary, all right. So we're in October. And tonight, the message from Sunshine is, things that go bump. And so with that, when she mentioned that title, the first thing that came into my mind at home was that little girl with the pigtails in Monsters Incorporated that gets scared by that big blue thing. And so I started thinking about fear, and then I started thinking about how childlike we can be when the fear isn't there. And I thought of a little tune. So I'm just going to whisper that like a little child would and let you hear it, because I think most of you will recognize it. Whenever I feel afraid, I hold my head erect and whistle a happy tune so no one will suspect I'm afraid. While shivering in my shoes, I strike a careless pose and whistle a happy tune, and no one ever knows I'm afraid. The results of this deception is very strange to tell, for when I fool the people I fear, I fool myself as well. I whistle a happy tune, and every single time, the happiness in that tune convinces me that I'm not afraid. Tell yourself you're brave, and the thoughts will take you far. You will be as brave, you'll be as brave as you tell yourself you are. Let's thank you, and let's bring Reverend Sunshine up here to see what goes bump.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Jen. That was great. Hi, everybody. Here we are in October. So glad that you're all here tonight, each and every one of you. Yeah, so because the month of October holds this creepy and scary holiday that we celebrate usually toward the end of the month, and Dia de los Muertos and Halloween and things like that, I figured that our theme would be That's Scary, All Right, with a twist. As you may notice over the next couple of weeks, especially in the month of October, all of our talk titles are going to be kind of like horror filmy or kind of scary things without all the fuss and the fright, maybe. The reason I picked things that go bump, and actually it comes from this thing things that go bump in the night, I began to do a little research because as we get closer to Halloween and we think about, these goblins and these things that are scary and what happens, on Halloween or on Dia de los Muertos, we begin to see the scary movies and even the cartoons and things like that, and we begin to maybe allow our minds to go to this place of maybe that stuff is true, or maybe there's some truth to some of the things that these scary movies are made of. And as I began to look up things that go bump in the night, what I'm understanding is that it comes from a prayer, a British prayer from someone who actually believed in ghosts and goblins and frightening things, and that they were praying, "Dear Lord, please save me or protect me from the things that go bump in the night." Who knew? And come to find out, there's this whole YouTube video. It's like a dance video, things that go bump in the night. Bump, 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 bump. The video's better than me, believe me. So I wanted to just kind of give it a twist because, sometimes we think about these goblins and these scary creatures and things like that, and I tend to think that sometimes the thoughts in our own heads are more scary than any ghost or goblin or scarecrow or anything that, monster that we might think is under the bed. Actually, I believe that the thoughts in our head, AKA the things that go bump in our head, bump in the night, bump in the day, the things that go bump between our ears, right above our eyes, are definitely way more scary than anything that we can possibly imagine. Like, for instance, I'm separate from God. That's a scary thought right there. Like, really? That's scary. And it's only scary because when we believe that we can actually be separate from the life that God is, the moment we allow that thought, that belief to come into play, all bets are off. Because the truth is that there's one power, one presence, one life, and it created everything out of itself. Therefore, our life is that life that God is. But I'm going to break it down a little simpler for all of us. We found a wonderful poem that's going to really begin to be the seed for my talk tonight. So, to read the poem for us is Sunny Daye. She's multi-talented. She not only sings, but she can read poetry. You got it? You want me to take it?
Yeah, take the
All right.
muffin. Okay, the name of this poem is Things That Go Bump in the Night. Tucked up in bed on a dark, stormy night, trembling with cold or trembling with fright, howling winds blowing and driving the rain, making thunderous sounds on the window pane, house creaking loudly, screaming in pain, doors rattling and banging again and again. All of a sudden, a lull in the storm, I turn over in bed and try to get warm. 'Twas then that I heard it, thump, 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 as I moved across the wooden floor, bump, bump, bump. My heart in my mouth, filling up with dread, all alone terrified, I curled down into my bed. The blankets over my head, clutching them tightly, storm worse than ever, rescue unlikely. What unearthly creature is hiding in my room? Too terrified to move now or anytime soon. Hot breath under the blankets. Now I'm getting warm. I'm really scared and praying, please God, end this storm. Gradually, this creepy night gets quieter as I sleep, and I wake up the next day to find the culprit who did creep. What was all the fuss about? It really was quite clear. A ball was lying on the bed. There was no need to fear. When I moved, the ball fell off. It bounced across the floor. Thump, 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 bump, 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 rolling to the door. I heard somewhere the saying, things go bump in the night. For me, there is some truth in it. I really got a fright. If I did what my mother told me and put my toys away, I'd have saved myself from being scared on that stormy day.
So, the things that go bump in the night can be very, very simple. However, if we allow our minds to go off on this wild tangent about what it could be or what we think it is or who knows what, we then begin to allow ourselves to go on this scary ride down to who knows where, to fright, to fear, to deception, to desperation. See, bump, things that go bump, are things that are calling for our attention. Anything that bumps you, anything that rubs up against you, is really calling for your attention. Look at me, pay attention to me. There's some gift that I bring to you. What are some of those things in your life that are bumping you constantly? I think about bumper cars, because bumper cars are not like race cars. I like race cars, because you just get to go really fast around the track. But in bumper cars, a couple weeks ago we were at Knott's Berry Farm, got on the bumper car rides. And in bumper cars, you want to bump people. You want to see their response, their reaction. You want to bump them and make them jerk around. And the goal in bumper cars is to actually bump. It's not to just go around in the circle like race cars. So the things that are bumping you, like in bumper cars, if I bump you, I'm seeking your attention. I'm bumping you. I'm playing with you. I'm kind of saying, hey, here I am. But what are some of the things that continuously bump you that are seeking your attention because they're coming up to be healed, to be revealed, to be looked at, so that the light can shine on it and it can be revealed for the lie that it is? See, many of us, especially in this economy, as they say, maybe we've lost our jobs, lost a loved one, maybe we're losing our business, maybe we didn't get a promotion that we wanted, maybe we had an argument with our BFF or a family member, or there's been some disappointment in our life. Those are the bumps. Those are the things that go bump in your life. Those are the things that are simply coming up to be looked at, to be examined. Bump, B-U-M-P. Beware of the underlying mental practice. Just like in the song that Jan sang to us so wonderfully, right after that beautiful opening prayer, the little girl, her mental practice was, I'm gonna smile so you don't know that I'm afraid. But oh boy, there's something really wrong right now. How many of us do that? How many of us do the spiritual whitewashing? How many of us do the spiritual bypass? How many of us just totally glaze over situations in our lives because we're taught, or actually maybe mistaught, to use our prayer or affirmations or certain things to just kind of wish it away? We cannot wish it away. We get to do the work. It's coming up, it's bumping us, and it continuously bumps us because it needs to be addressed. Not just chanted away or prayed away or whatever. It needs to be looked at. It needs to be, the light needs to shine on it so we can see exactly the lie that it is. You know, a lot of us are so afraid of the unknown. That's a scary thought right there. That's scary, all right? There's nothing that is really unknown. What I know is that God is all there is. What I know is that God created everything out of itself. Therefore, my life is the life of God. What I know is that right where I am, God is. What's unknown? That's what I need to know. That's what I get to anchor. That's the mental practice that I get to engage in so that when things go bump, I can look at it. And instead of being scared, like in the poem, thump, 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 bump, 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 and too afraid and throw the covers over my head, too afraid to look, too afraid to really investigate and to see what is really happening, it's just a ball. It's just a ball. But because the weather was just right, because it was this perfect storm and things were creeping around and things were kind of, ooh. A simple ball going thump, 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 bump, bump, bump in the middle of the night scared the person in the poem. How many times do we allow situations, conditions, to frighten us, to scare us, to throw us into this place of deep depression, to throw us in this whirlpool of sadness and lack and limitation and doubt and fear? How many times do we allow these things that go bump to really throw us in a tailspin instead of taking a look at our mental practice, instead of us becoming beware of the underlying mental practice and saying to ourselves, what is the truth that I know right now? Even though this looks like this, or this sounds like this, or this can be scary or frightening, what is the truth that I know right now? And becoming aware of our mental practice, where we go in our own heads, and see if we're going down this rabbit trail that takes us nowhere, or whether we are using our faculty to recognize and to know the truth, to tap into that energetic that is life, to really begin to anchor and use that truth that we know to be the truth to really step us out into the light, into the truth of who and what we are. Make sense? Yeah. Too many times, the things that we bump up against take over our life. Too many times the things that we bump up against take over our lives. And we begin to think and or believe that which is coming up is the actual truth. When we really, really know, and if we don't know, then our practice is to really know that right where we are, God is. That everything is coming together for our good. That I'm living and having my being in God. And that God is living and having its being in, through, and as my life. And when we anchor in that truth, when we recognize that truth, when we know it beyond the shadow of a doubt, and we recognize that our mental practice, it may be to go to that site of lack and limitation, doubt, and fear. Oh, we can go, oh no, hold on. Now that's scary. What's the truth? And begin, even if it's taking small steps, begin to really take a look at our mental practice and make some small changes that we can actually participate in and do and recognize and practice and practice and practice, so that our default, when things bump us, when we bump into things, when these things pop up in our lives, these circumstances, these situations, so that when these things pop up, that our default is not lack, limitation, doubt, fear, insecurities, but indeed that our default becomes, oh, you look like a monster. But what I know is that right where I am, God is. I know that there's one power, one presence, one life. That life is the life that God is. That life is perfect. That life is my life right now. Therefore, it's from this place of power, from this place of peace, from this place of love, from this place of courage, from this place of harmony, from this place of clarity, I move forth and move forward into it, not running away from it, not ignoring it, not chanting or wishing it away, but I go forth from this place of presence and power with ease and grace, knowing that though the appearance may be a little frightening, that because I'm anchored in my truth, that everything is really unfolding for my highest good, is really unfolding for the highest good of all. That the truth of who we are, that we're so anchored in that it continues to shine forth, and we begin to see these situations, these things that may bump us as opportunities for growth. We look at them and we go, oh, this is coming up so that I can clear this up. Oh, I'm having this conversation again with so-and-so again because it's still not cleared up. I don't have to run away from it. I don't have to be afraid of it. I can just simply have this conversation again to have more clarity, to have more love, more harmony, more peace. You know, so many times what happens is we think that we can, we learn some things around here, which is what I love because, this is a great teaching center. Like we come here and we learn so much. This is like spiritual school. And we learn these tools, the power of prayer, of our affirmation, of meditation, of treatment. We learn how to vision, how to visualize, how to do our vision boards. We learn all of these things in a way to attract or actually be in alignment with the life that is really ours to have. The glorious, abundant, prosperous, harmonious, powerful life that seems sometimes so elusive and so attractive, and then we come around and, we see other people having this fabulous life, and we go, dang, I'll have some of what she's having, and what are you doing? Oh, yeah, I'm faithful in my meditation or my treatment, or I'm doing visioning right now, or I have this vision board, or whatever it is that folks do. I'll have a little bit of what he's having right there because he's having a good time. He's been surfing a lot this year, whatever it is that attracts you as we begin to see people having these amazing lives. And we look to ourselves and kind of go, dang, I want some of that. I want some of that. Well, we have to address the things that bump us, the things that go bump. We have to take a look at that. We have to know and be anchored and so deeply anchored in the truth of who and what we are that when these things bump us, we recognize them for what they are and we don't let them swerve us or move us away from the truth of who we are. Right where you are, God is. Right where you are, God is. That's an affirmation that continuously, if we begin to even just kind of, if you're walking from your car into the office, right where I am, God is. Right where I am, God is. We begin to not only just say it as a way to like we're chanting something away, but what we're doing is we're using the power of repetition, where what we're doing is uncovering those areas where we think, oh yeah, God is everywhere, but not right here. We're doing that so that we can begin to really recognize that even in situations that will baffle us, if we recognize that we've been doing these affirmations and knowing this truth, when we come up to these things that bump, we can go right where I am, God is. But stand there from a different truth because now it's anchored within us. But it just doesn't happen with just affirmations. Of course, we get to do our meditation work. We get to sit in the silence and we get to know, and we're sitting in that silence and we're actually tapping into that deep I am presence that is within us, that is so silent, it's almost like this whisper. But of course, with the head chatter and the mind chatter going so loudly, sometimes we can't hear the whisper. It's like, shut up, so I can hear. So I can hear the silence. So I can hear that sweet I am presence speak to me in the language of my soul. But it just doesn't happen with our affirmation and our meditation. Those are practices that when we do them in combination, they begin to work a little bit more. And yet, but wait, there's more. Order now, and we'll also teach you how to do treatment. Treatment is just our fancy way of saying affirmative prayer or a scientific prayer that is not about begging or beseeching some power outside of ourselves to grant us what we want. Just like affirmations are not just us saying, I am whole or I am healthy or wealthy or wise. It's not saying it out loud so that some energetic can pick it up and go, okay, you finally believe it. Here's some money. Or here's some health. It's not so that happens. It's so that we might know it for ourselves. There's no power that's outside of us that's going to grant us stuff just because we're saying it. We get to know that this is already who and what we are. It's already been given. It is already ours. It's already here. And to the degree in which we have a spiritual practice and a mental practice that engages that and that knows that and that we get to live from that place, we get to really experience the abundance and the prosperity and the health and the wholeness and the peace and the harmony and the joy that there is to have. I get excited about this stuff. I just recognized how excited I was. Because there's some good stuff. You know, a lot of times we wanna not look at the things that bump us. We don't, oh, that's too negative. I don't want to look at that. I don't want to deal with that. Go away. But it's coming up so that we can recognize it for the lie that it is. Dissolve into the nothingness from where it came. It came from some thought pattern or some mental pattern that we've picked up along the way. It's almost like we've been the street sweepers of trashy thoughts, in life, just like driving and the sweepers going, oh, we'll pick up that one. And then when things go bump, we're like, oh, yeah, I'm no good. Oh, yeah, I'm not, smart. Oh, yeah, I'm not worthy. Oh, yeah, of course that's happening to me. I didn't do this or this or that. Or, oh, yeah, that's just my karma coming up. It's almost, where did we get that stuff from? It's not even the truth of who we are. Somebody else threw it out and you picked it up. Somebody threw it out and we pick it up. We don't have to pick it up anymore. We don't have to pick up other people's trash. Just because people say, oh, if you do that, such and such, what's going to happen to you. I remember, if you keep turning your eyelids inside out, a fly's going to get stuck on it. It's flu season. And if you don't dress warmly, you're going to catch a cold or a flu. We pick it up. We go, oh, yeah, that's true. Better hold on to that gem. Put it right here. And then when we get bumped, we take it out and we go, oh, yeah, that's right. No, it's not the truth of who we are. The things that bump us, the things that go bump, are a reminder to beware of the underlying mental practice. Examine what it is that you're thinking. Where your mind takes you, what your default is. It's through our spiritual practice that we begin to change the default setting to I'm no good, to right where I am, God is. The power, the presence, the love, the harmony, the joy, the peace that God is, I am. Na 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 na. That's just the truth of who I am. I can't help it. I can't help it. It's just who I am. Love is just how I show up in the world. Peaceful is just how I show up in the world, because it's who I am. Just like in the song, when I tell myself I'm brave, telling myself the truth. So when I tell myself the truth, and I begin to anchor in that truth through my prayer, my meditation, my affirmations, my visualization, through my spiritual practice, through all of the things that make up your own special design of your spiritual practice, that's how we anchor in a new default setting. That's how we get to live this life that we see other people just live so easily sometimes. Wow, how they get to drive that kind of car? Wow, how they get to live over there? Oh, wow, how they get to have all that love in their life? Wow, they seem so peaceful, so calm. How? It's been revealed. It's been revealed. To the degree in which we, as individuals and as a collective, to the degree in which we know that this is our truth, we get to live from this place. So we get to change our default. So, here is what our Science of Mind textbook tells us. This particular reading is actually talking about treatment, which is our affirmative prayer. Again, not praying to a power outside of ourselves, but affirmative prayer simply being that we recognize that there's a power and a presence, and that power and presence created everything out of itself. Therefore, I am one with this power and presence, so I'm unified, and then I'm simply stating that which is already my truth, but recognizing that it is indeed my life, and giving thanks for that. Like, pray ye knowing that it is done. You know, like you already know you're going to get a gift from me. You're already saying thanks even before you got it, right? So that Thanksgiving portion, that giving thanks, having that grateful heart that it's already happening, that it is already happening from the visible into the visible, and simply releasing it and letting it go. That's the quick version of a treatment. So Ernest Holmes is talking about treatment right here, and he says mental or spiritual treatment should bring into actual manifestation the health and happiness which are mankind's normal and divine heritage. The health and happiness which are mankind's normal and divine heritage. Our normal heritage is health and happiness. Spiritual health, emotional health, mental health, financial health, happiness, again, in all areas of our life. Health and happiness is our normal and divine heritage. So when we broke, we're not in the normal heritage of life. Okay? When we find ourselves in discord with something, we're not participating in the normal heritage of life. The divine heritage is our normal and divine heritage. It is who and what we are. So our prayer treatment should bring the actual manifestation. We should experience that. Such healings include the emancipation, meaning the freedom from the emancipation of the mind from every form of bondage through a new concept of God. Maybe we've been holding on to an old idea of God. Maybe it was something from our childhood. Maybe it's something we saw on television. Maybe we were hanging out with some friends and they kind of gave us some misperception or misinformation about God. But what we get to know is that there is a power and a presence that has created everything out of itself. Therefore, our life is that life that God is. We're made in the image and likeness of. So we get to be free from the bondage of every thought that is unlike this new concept, this idea that right where we are, God is, which causes the heart to beat with joy and gladness. This healing power is a consciousness of the unity of all life and the spiritual nature of all being. That is our truth. When things go bump in the night, or in our life, or in the daytime, or whenever things bump up against us, it is an opportunity to beware of the underlying mental practice. It is an opportunity for us to stop, drop, and roll. No. But that might be a good spiritual practice, though. Stop, drop, and roll it on out. What can I say? It's a great opportunity to stop and recognize, which road, what's my mental practice here, and which road am I going down? And is this the road that I really want to go down? Is this the scary road? Or is this the road of my truth, where I can be happy and joyous, where I recognize my divine heritage, where I know that right where I am, God is, love is, peace is, power is, abundance is, joy is. The scary stuff is when we believe in lack and limitation. The scary stuff is when we believe that we're separate from life. No wonder we get so paralyzed with fear. No wonder. I say no more. In this month of October, as we begin to explore those things that go bump, as we begin to really uncover the cobwebs of our spiritual practice and of our consciousness, and really go into the nooks and crannies, let's begin to sweep out that which no longer serves us. Let's begin to open the curtains and allow the sunlight of the Spirit into our consciousness, into our practices, into our daily lives, so that we might shine the light on the lies that we have believed to be true for so long. And as we do that together, we begin to live a magnificent life. As we look at the last quarter of 2013, it is incumbent upon us now to ramp it up and to really begin to look at the scary things and not make them so scary, because we know God is right where we are. God is our life. All things are possible in God. Right where I am, God is. So let's take that into our meditation. Let's take that into our quiet time. That as we simply begin to clear our laps and simply begin to just take a little time in the stillness and in the silence, we recognize that God is all. Right where I am, God is. And everything comes together for my good. God is all. Right where I am, God is. And everything comes together for my good. And for a few minutes, we'll just simply know that truth for ourselves. And we begin to do that software change and make this our new default. God is all. Everything is coming together for my good. Right where I am, God is. bump. Woo!
In the silence there was peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So why wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said? And right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself.
How cool that from the silence we get the bumps. Just a reminder, just a way to anchor in what we've heard, what we've listened to, what we've reflected upon this evening. That we can be really, really scared about it, or we can just know. That's from the baseball field right there. Somebody hit a foul ball and landed on our roof. Ah, yes. There's nothing scary about that. For right where I am, God is. And because God is right where I am, there is nothing, no thing to fear. This idea of the unknown is false. For what I know is that there's one power, one presence, one life. That life is that life that God is, and that God has created everything out of itself. Therefore, my life is indeed the life that God is, and that which is true of God is true of me, that the love and the joy and the peace that God is, I am, that it is indeed my default. And so I anchor that in. I remember that. I align with that truth. I clear out the cobwebs and the spooky things and the spiders and anything else that has cluttered my consciousness. And I recognize that the things that go bump are simply an opportunity for me to know the truth of myself. So I give thanks for this time in the silence where we, as a collective, as a community, as this wonderful, powerful spiritual community, have come together to know this truth together, to anchor it in our meditation, in our contemplation, in our quiet time. Right where we are, God is. Everything is coming together for our good. God is all there is. It is so, and so it is. Amen. It's spiritual to laugh. That was kind of cool. I had that happen to me more than once. I remember telling a story to a group of people about me feeling like a dog, and I told them to close their eyes, and I was telling them how I felt like this stray dog once upon a time in my life. And then all of a sudden, in the background from a car outside, we hear a dog barking. It was so hilarious. So it was just like this, the things that go bump, the ball and the story and and there it was, bump, 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 roll, 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 bump, bump. I love it when that happens. So it's our conscious giving time that we've dedicated so that we might redistribute our goods. So I'm going to invite the ushers to come forth at this time and invite you to take out any gifts, any tithes, any offerings, anything that you've brought to simply share with this spiritual community as a way of thanks, as a way of blessing, as a way of recognizing the gift that this community has been to you. I want you to think of something that you're grateful for and to just pour that energy of gratitude into your giving. And to give from a place of gratitude, not a place of obligation. We don't know. We don't know. You just put it in the basket, you bless it along its way, and it begins to simply multiply and be more of a blessing for more of us. It helps us to keep the doors open so that more and more folks can come and recognize the truth of who they are, that they too might participate in the awakening world, in this consciousness. So I simply bless these gifts, these tithes, and these offerings that already fill these baskets, knowing that we use them not only for our personal good here as this beautiful community, but that we indeed redistribute this good and that it is indeed a benefit to the entire world. Go forth, ushers. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your giving. And wow, we have a treat today, you know.
Trick or treat?
It's a treat. I say it's a treat, right?
Thank you.
Let me see. Sunny Daye is going to sing a song. She's going to bless us. I'm moving everything out of the way so y'all can feast your eyes upon what's going to happen. Because you've so freely given, and now she's giving to you. And so please receive the beautiful music of Jim Bianchi and Sunny Daye.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You have only waited for this moment to arise, yeah. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see all your life. You have only waited for this moment to be free. Hey, yeah. Blackbird fly. Blackbird fly into the light of a new dark night. Yeah, yeah. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You have only waited for this moment to arise. Let's do that one more time. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see all your life. You have only waited for this moment to be free. Yeah.
waiting.
Blackbird fly. Blackbird fly. Blackbird fly. Ooh, into the light of a new dark night.
Waiting for this moment to rise.
Fly.
For this moment to rise.
Don't be afraid,
You
no,
alone waiting
no, no,
for
no,
this
no.
moment to rise.
Blackbird
You only waiting
fly.
for this moment to be free.
To be free.
Only waiting for this
Blackbird
moment to
fly.
be free.
It's time to
You were only waiting for this moment
arise.
to rise.
Blackbird fly. Free.
Yeah. Sunny Daye and Jim Bianchi. Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for that. All right, it's time to hear from you. Maybe, let's see, the prompt question is, what bump are you ready to address in your life? Or, yeah, what bump are you ready to address in your life? Or how has this talk tonight, or the song, or the music, or anything really fit into what's going on for you? Glad to have you here tonight.
Thanks. My friend Adam. Thank you. I'm Anthony, and I'm coming up on a bump. It's like a medical bump, but because I do believe in God, you know, to me, I do not have any fear. The people around me have fear, but as soon as I found out about it, I just said, you know what? Right, it's life. And I know that everything's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you, Anthony. Welcome, Adam. Glad you're here with us tonight. Got time for another one. Hi. Are y'all dressing up for Halloween this year? What are you going to be for Halloween?
A dragon.
You're going to be a
Dragon.
dragon. How about you?
A vampire.
A vampire. Ooh, a dragon and a vampire. Knocking on doors. Oh, it's the dragon from Shrek. I love the dragon from Shrek. That's not scary at all. One more. Yes. Good to see you. How are you?
Hi. Well, I was just going to start with a little thing that happened to me when I was young. We lived next to the Washington Zoo, and my parents rented up the upstairs, so we had to go down to the basement to use the bathroom. So at night, my sister wakes me up. If she's about 4, I'm about 6 or 7. Can they take me down to the basement because it's scary to go down there alone? So we go down to the basement, and I hear this bump in the furnace room. Then I hear another bump, and we hear a scratching, and then the door starts to creak open. And suddenly there's this wolf there, and I whip off the top of my pajamas and start whipping at the wolf and taking my sister and pulling her upstairs. We go running in, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. He says, I know, there's a dog in the basement. A dog? We thought it was a wolf that escaped from the zoo. And that dog, that dog turned out to be, a wonderful object of love. It became our best friend. Love and joy and freedom and all these wonderful things came from that bump in the night.
I love it. Thank you. What a great story. It's a great story, right? A dog, but what did we make it out to be? A wolf. Make it a lot scarier than what it is. Let's trade mics, Sunny Daye. Perfect. Yeah, we make it a lot scarier than what it is, and it's really not. What a great night it has been. I want to thank everybody who's just come out tonight. First, I want to start with you. Thank you so much for bringing your consciousness, your love, your gifts, everything that you brought with you, whether it was sadness or joy. Thank you for bringing it here, that it can be transformed, that it can be transmuted, that you might be lifted up, that you might hear something or say something for somebody else or receive a hug or just a look or something that helps us to really get through and to recognize that our life is indeed that life that God is. So thank you so much for being here tonight. I was kidding around with Jenny earlier. I was like, Jenny, take the night off. Let us miss you. Because she's our coordinator, right? I know, right? You know how funny that is. But for the rest of us, we may not know. If I really were to give her the night off and there was no backup, be like, where are the programs? Where are the ushers? She makes sure that everything runs so smoothly. So tonight, I really want to recognize Jenny, our coordinator, for all that you do, knowing that what a blessing and what a gift you are. Jan, thank you so much for the reading and the song. Jan's one of our practitioners. She represents the practitioner corps here on the pulpit, and then another person who's representing the practitioner corps on the silent end of life is Nancy, and she's been in the back holding the light for us. And what I'd like to let you know is that they're both going to be available to us for prayer after service right here in our chapel. I want to thank Melanie for our sound tonight. Thank you. Annette and Tim on the live streaming aspects, the video streaming, and thank you at home for tuning in. Let's see. Look at that little mellow Day. And of course, want to thank our beautiful music team, Jim Bianchi and Sunny Day, for being such a love and blessing us with their music. All right, so we usually close out. Oh, next week's talk is The Call is Coming from Inside the House. Just saying. It's about having fun this month, right? The call is coming from inside the house. You don't want to miss that talk. It's going to be amazing. And, all right. Oh, and please join us in the family room after service. I unloaded about 100 hugs or so. So I'm distributing, big hugs, 2, 3 if you need, a little extra. But got some big hugs for you after service as we fellowship after service. All right. The invitation is to rise and to sing our closing prayer.
This is our prayer, a song of peace. We get to be the change we want to see. With open hearts and open hands, we lift our voices, in love we stand. This is our prayer, a song of peace. We get to be the change we want to see. With